Okay, welcome everyone to the second part of our HeyLayer Metamorphosis. The we're so super happy to have you guys here. I can't believe it's been a year since our launch last December. Really cool to see some familiar faces, some faces that have been with us from the very beginning, some new faces. Thank you so much for kind of adapting. I know that we had a little bit of a hiccup in the previous, and so thank you for whoever made it here. We will be sharing all the recordings from the previous hour and along with this hour to anyone who registered on RSVP for the Eventbrite. But welcome to HeyLayer's Metamorphosis event, where we're going to be updating the community on our goals for 2023. So the agenda for the hour will be just our projects overview and what we have learned, the technology overview and sort of what we're building, the focus for 2023. Marina will go through the Space Camp overview and the graduates will come on board and talk a little bit about the program that we've been running for the past 8 weeks. The new master classes that we have built out for 2023. We'll have a little bit of the fireside chat and Q&A at the end. Some of the projects, just to kind of walk you through, this was quite an emotional thing. When I was putting this presentation together, this is just a handful of projects that kind of stood out for us and for the past year. But as we were building, we were just building and launching and working and kind of keeping our head down. And it's nice to kind of step back at the end of the year and look back at all the things that we've been involved in. And just last year, we launched with the first collection with the marketplace opening on December 10th. We launched with an NFT campaign called Satoshi, where we highlighted 20 artists from all over the world. One of the artists that I actually met was Jessica Greenwald, who was on the previous call and has been such a big supporter for HeyLayer. But her and the other artists, we had the first NFT launch in a metaverse called B-Space, another woman founder out of Brooklyn. It was an amazing event. A lot of learnings went into that, a lot of sleepless nights trying to organize 20 artists and figure out sort of the strategy behind what the NFT launch will be and what it takes to put on an online event. Was something that we all had to learn. We had a DJ, Tasha Blank, who sold out her first music NFT on the very first day. It was the first auction of its kind that was done on Stacks. I think it was sold for a little over 7,000, which was like the highest sale for Stacks community. So it was a really great project. It was really great to kind of come out as women-led team with a project that would support other women artists. From that, we kind of ran with it, and we knew that we can carve out a space in the Stacks ecosystem and be a pillar for bringing on more women into the ecosystem. And so we knew that we wanted to do her NFT launch. Definitely a lot of learnings there. The space wasn't working correctly. A lot of people, again, this is kind of when you are experimenting with new technology, you kind of have to accept that you may have issues with the technology that's just being built. So definitely we had issues with that event, with people not being able to log in. So a lot of learnings there nonetheless. We then helped launch the first publicly available sperm auction with collaboration with Exchange, who was another woman founder that was in our first cohort. We went through a Stacks accelerator, and that's kind of what got us into the Stacks ecosystem. So we wanted to support her, and she wanted to support us. And it was a first auction of its kind that was done on the blockchain. Yeah, and then Bitcoin Unleashed was kind of a big first IRL event that we attended, and we worked in collaboration with the Hero team. We built out the first NFT photo booth. So every picture that was taken at the event was an NFT that you were able to hold and sort of proof that you were in attendance. Really great event, kind of seeing a lot of people in real life that we've been talking to and communicating with and growing together. And so that was a really great event. We then had the Wave Riders membership collaboration. So this was with surfing.com. They had a first Wave Riders membership that allowed members to have access to digital content in relation to surfing, and have the ability to have private lessons in different locations. We worked with an amazing artist, Matthew. So he was in charge of kind of making, it was 5,000 NFTs that were individually drawn. Really great effort on everyone's part. Similar to what Louis from Ryder was talking before, at the time, this is May, it was all about projects launching, and the expectation was these projects needed to sell out immediately. This project was not a sellout immediately. I think the learnings there was, and that I take it to any client that's going forward, is the fact that you should really look into sort of where your current community is, and is having a membership that's on the blockchain is beneficial to them, right? So there was this disconnect between the crypto community not really being surfers, and their wave riders or surfing community not really being into crypto. So great project, but we're really going forward with any new brand, with any new business that was coming to us for strategy. We really had to kind of dig deeper and say, like, where is your current community? Really hone in into where your brand's DNA, where your current community communicating on, and is coming into crypto the best decision for you. NFT NYC time came after, where Marina and Gary were one of the first. Can you guys mute? Got it? Okay. So yeah, it was, amazing time with Marina and Gary speaking. We had a ton of satellite events that we attended. So it was a great time for us to come together and meet a lot of new connections for the rest of the year. At the time, we also launched the first multi-pass proof of attendance with GM campaign with Ed, and it was first time that we sort of unrolled an app through a multi-pass that essentially showed proof of attendance. And if you actually attended NFT NYC and you got to meet me and Gary, maybe you would have gotten our NFTs as well. So hold on to those. We then started working with STS London and with the STX Stacks chapter in London, and having the ability to now use proof of attendance for physical goods. So they have a physical clothing line and accessories line that essentially allows you to have these NFTs with the proof of holdings. So that was sort of a really great partnership in trying to get the Stacks ecosystem more involved within HeyLayer, sort of the multi-pass, experimenting with that product. My love with fashion led me into Fashion Week, and we did the first proof of attendance badge with the Nolce shows, which if anyone knows and has been in the fashion space, has been organizing the best fashion events in New York and Miami for the past 15 years. So we were lucky to bring our crew together, Grace from Crash Punks, and Danny, you see here, and Louis, and Ileana, and Brian from New York Culture Club, and bringing sort of the pillars together and bridging fashion and technology. And yeah, I just came back from Art Basel, where we were supporting Nolce again with Crash Punks, where she previewed her first clothing collection and the ability to show, get access into her community, to CrashPunk's community. So it's been an exciting year. We've been super busy. We've been building a lot, and understanding from each project what it takes to succeed, what it takes, what kind of team is needed, what kind of support is needed. So yeah, there's, I think given everything that has happened, some things were in our control, some things were, the economy out of our control, but we are, really proud ourselves of being forward, experimenting, and sometimes you have to jump into things and see what works. But definitely in the next year, to focus on sort of where the people are and bring the technology to where they sit. So Gary, I'm going to pass on the baton for.
Great, great. And do you have I know do you have slides for me, or the stats?
For you, yeah.
Okay, yeah, perfect. So yeah, I mean, just to look back, we've been kind of quiet and building, and I think one thing that we did was we actually built, maybe a little bit too much, but that's because, when you're excited and you're in a new space and you're kind of trying to lead, you do want to try out all of these things, and ultimately there is this bigger vision, right? Because everything is going to come together. But at the beginning, we were known for our credit card checkout. We have royalty splitting, which is extremely simple to do. We have received a grant from the Stacks Foundation for that, which was amazing, and that's all open source. We've got mint pool pages, which are sort of these unique kind of storefronts that we can generate for our users. Our OAuth system, which basically means it's one system that allows you to connect to all of our tools. So we're still sort of tweaking that, but the idea is that if you are using any of the tools that we're going to be releasing, you don't need different accounts, and again, one wallet should authenticate everything. And it also helps other companies if they want to leverage our technology, like an API or something that asks our company, uses us to mint on their behalf. It just kind of synchronizes everything. The storage for IPFS, yeah, we were very early with storage. We never actually had a chance to release it in the way that we wanted to. And that's actually one of the things that's going to change this year, because we are moving our storage system into production probably within the next few days. So, finally, one of the tools that, our users at HeyLayer will have is really like a Google Drive for IPFS storage, which is decentralized storage. And we've spent a lot of time testing it, and we feel good about that. The multipass, right? Equally as valuable. We haven't done any marketing on it. People come to us. We just had a CrashPunks event, their 1-year anniversary, and Elon was involved with that as well. And I think that's about to go out over the next week or so, because they're kind of finalizing all of their, formalities for who's getting the PO app and the multipass. But it's an amazing app. We released it on iOS and Android. We've used it at some high profile events. And again, the goal, which we'll talk about later, is how do we tie that into kind of this one big picture. So it's 2 number 7s, which is fine because that's my favorite number. But so we have Chris Perceptions, I know here, who is really heading up a no-code clarity. And, this is a big thing. I am an early no-code developer. No-code essentially there's a ton of, it's got a lot of meaning, but one of the main things, the idea behind it is, if you are someone that understands engineering, can put things together, but perhaps is a little bit more on the creative side or the visionary side than you are on the ones and zeros side of the math of coding, which I think I put myself in that category. No code's an amazing technology, and we are working directly with No Code Clarity, the people at Stacks, and have a plugin that will go live, which I'm internally testing, but I know that No Code Clarity is going to be launching, and essentially there's just so much that comes with that, because there's cohorts that are already excited, so that we can essentially teach new people how to mint NFTs just by using this technology without knowing how to code. And so he's, Chris, thanks to him and Stacks Foundation, they're going to be doing a lot of things with the Miami-Dade County University, and that's a whole other thing. And again, going back to, I think what I mentioned before is these APIs. So, HeyLayer has always been about, we're going to build all these tools that will open up Web3 to the world in a simple way. How can people access that? And I think that's what we did this year. We keep saying last year, this year. I think this coming year, we're going to tie it all up in a bow so that people can actually say, well, this is all cool, but it's very confusing and it's sort of very siloed. How do we have a process that brings it all together? And that is actually what we spent, frankly, the last, I think, quarter or more doing. I know some of you, Matthew, for example, was a user at HeyLayer, and he said, hey, I love this stuff. It's easy to use, but I'm kind of like, where do I go next? There's almost like too many things. And I think the one thing that we are going to hone in on, which is probably our Achilles heel right now, is that central messaging. You all talked about clear messaging earlier, and that's what this is about. That's what 2023 is about. So the focus is learn, build, and lead. We started with learn, build, and scale. We're going to be going into lead. So, there's one way that we need to sort of button up everything that we're doing. And, what we found is that we are not just, me or Mianalo or Miala Marino or Matthew and Justin Matson and all the people, Mara and everyone helping us, but I think everyone on this call is a leader. And the reality is we're leaders because we are in uncharted territory. We're willing to get things wrong. We're willing to try. And I think, we're willing to accept certain things, the reality of maybe like somebody like me who is Bitcoin first, Stacks first, and here's Ethereum coming on and, putting up a fight. And so we needed to kind of wrap it up in a bow. And I think what we're going to be doing, and you'll see this over the next week, because we plan to kind of turn everything on fairly soon, is create this guided system, this flow of don't just show up and figure it out, but show up, take our hand, and let us guide you through the steps that make Web3 possible. And that's what we're excited about. So, you don't have to even remember all the little things that we have built. You're going to be able to sort of go through a process, and you're going to be able to go through that process with us, with our community. And we will question community itself, because like I said, I think there are some people here like me who are not necessarily big fans of Discord. And there are already other opportunities out there. Console is coming out. That's a new tool that is trying to simplify Discord. But we want to figure out, how can we make our website and our platform a hub for community? So, could it be a place where you can come in, start your Web3 journey, take your first course, get through the course, and then say, hey, I'm ready for what's next. And then from there, we may align you to, hey, you may want to mint NFTs with us. You may want to use our storage, but if you want to succeed, you may also want to meet, Jessica Greenwald, for example, because here's what she does. Or you may want to meet Kelly Thompson because she's a writer and she can give you access to the things that she knows. Or Matthew Hegem, who's doing a lot with bringing 10,000 creatives into the space. And we're also rethinking some of the things we've done. So, I was aggressive from an idealistic standpoint, maybe a little overzealous in thinking that Bitcoiners would be okay with credit card transactions. And so we were very bullish on, how do we accept credit cards and have NFTs that connect to Stacks and Bitcoin? And that's great, because I'm not going to let that go for the people that need it. But I also understand that there's this part of Web3 that says, you know what, that's almost thinking backwards, because we really need everything on chain. We need to decentralize the entire process. And so we're going to be open to doing that. And what that means is also collaboration with other marketplaces within Stacks, which I think is a win-win for everyone. We talked about people coming to us, and Marina is going to talk about this amazing program that she's run. And I think it's going so well that we're going to sort of take that as a very good first step. But the reality is, we may not want people to go on HeyLayer from a marketplace perspective. There's also some news on that. I don't know if Al is ready to share, but there's going to be reasons why different marketplaces exist, and we're going to be a lot clearer as to what are the artists that should exist on HeyLayer's marketplaces versus just throwing everything against the wall and hoping it sticks. So really clarifying the message is what's coming in 2023, taking our users through a more guided experience, and then bringing in the tools that were almost half built but not really marketed to fully built, and then make that a full part of our suite of tools. And overall, it's learn, build, and lead in Web3, right? So we're bringing people in so that they can become Web3 leaders together, because I think that's really what we are, all of us here. So I think with that, that's sort of a good kind of rough recap. Before I pass it on to Marina, I got a secret message from Ala that I am allowed to share the one thing about the marketplace. So we have decided to close off the marketplace to a approval model, which really flips a lot on its head. We have always been sort of, let's get everybody onto this whole Web3 thing. But what we, as welcoming and as open as we generally are and want to be, there are just realities that present themselves. And the realities that we were faced with was people that were using things like, AI to generate art and then sell that art, or, artists pretending to be other artists. And really, as a company who's built so many tools, not being able to, frankly, mitigate a lot of that. And I think that devalues the marketplace. We have amazing artists that want to work with us. And so what we've decided to do is say, hey, you know what, this is, we want to uplift artists. We want to showcase artists that are doing the right thing. And so going forward, HeyLayer is going to be a closed marketplace. You will need to be approved. And I think what's beautiful about that is, it will raise the level of all the art. We're going to be curating it first with a group of 6 artists who will form a committee, who will help us decide what sticks and what doesn't stick. And over time, we'll get more people involved. But I think this is exciting because when it comes to stacks, we may now be almost like the super rare within stacks as we think about the value of Bitcoin NFTs and all the things that make our NFTs valuable. So with that, I want to bring it to Marina, because I think she's started this amazing program, which is leading us to meet amazing artists and sort of get them educated in Web3.
Thank you. Hello, everyone. I know for some of you, you've been around for almost an hour and a half. Just want to see how's everybody doing. Just give me a heart, or maybe no heart. I feel like there's not too many things. Yes, thumbs up. Very good. So everybody is fine. Drink some water. If you need to stand, stand. The last year has been transformational for us, and on many different levels. And that's what Web3 does to you. It feels like 1 year, as they say, it's 7 years in dog years, right? So we've been around for 3 years. So I feel like I've been around for 21. So with that said, it's actually, even if you're around for a year or two, the learning curve is incredible. And so one of the biggest discoveries, and I think it was a huge accomplishment, because we actually heard from a lot of people who reached out to us. They say there's so many tech companies, they keep on promising and not building. So our huge accomplishment last year was we really launched. We launched the marketplace, and we launched a storage. It was available for use. It was a huge, big deal. And then we went into understanding the market. We really got into understanding what's our users, what are they striving for, what is their challenges. And I think what's happened to us, we built this incredible technology, went to the moon, all excited, it's working, but then there's not enough of users, right? And so what we start learning is that the onboarding process, and it's not only about HeyLayer. We spoke to people on different blockchain who also build a lot of technologies. that education, the onboarding process is actually essential. And looking back at my own personal story, I remember how grateful I was when I was entering Web3, having Gary holding my hand, telling me what to read, what to do, what not to pay attention into. And so we understood we have to create educational platform as well, because nobody will use our technology if we don't educate. And that was, I think I also heard on the Twitter, our Zoom space, what we heard about is that space need more education and more user-friendly education and more user-friendly technology, which we do have. As Matthew Hagem said, that was his first experience. He came, he looked at it, he minted, he sold it. So it was it's a great thing. But then there's a lot of people who are missing an opportunity of entering Web3. Leaders, artists, businesses, entrepreneurs, because they don't know where to start, because the space is quite overwhelming. For I think, let's just face it, the smartest people of the world come together to build and create and put it out there in the world. And I think when people just even think about Web3, they feel as they like lost. They're like, where do I start? And that's when they message on LinkedIn Gary and ask all of the questions. And so I want to kind of tell you that I also, like, while being a CEO and co-founder of the space, I have almost 20 years in productivity experience of being a productivity coach, creating educational materials, workshop, retreats. And so I actually saw, when I start kind of seeing the space, there are three really important things that are missing, and that what we in HeyLayer in our educational programs going to bring into is, I'm going to just give you three stories, but it will make you excited about the program that we're already started, and we're going to have more programming next year. Is I spent the last 10 years learning how to surf. And it's been the scariest thing. I mean, HeyLayer, building HeyLayer is scary too, but but I have Gary, right, and Ala and our team. But surfing actually taught me, while I was scared of ocean and I wasn't really into like kind of sports, but finding the right instructor, a coach, a mentor was a game changer for me. He taught me everything: how to hold the board, which waves I should take, what's happening in the water, how do I do what I do with my nose when it's running. I know it sounds crazy, but he showed me the way, right? And yes, we're all going surfing. And he showed me the way, he held my hand. And so I think the Web3 need that a lot at the beginning. Now I go surf by myself, right? But at the beginning, somebody need to hold your hand. The second thing I think is essential is there's something interesting. I'm also a long-time meditator and teacher. They say in meditation, no matter how old are you and what's your title and how much you accomplished, you got to start with the beginner's mind, right? And you got to start learning the basics. And I think in the Web3, no matter how much we accomplished in Web2, we have to remember we are babies, right? Even us being here for 3 years, like equal 21, we're probably not 5 years old. But it's kind of this mindset of beginner and kind of taking time, have basic learn with somebody being guided, helping you to guide them. And the third aspect is essential is how do you navigate all of this information, right? How do you choose? How do you discern, right? Because I think Ilan said there's always so many moving parts. How do you have sense of discernment and focus and say, okay, I spent 50 hours reading. It's time to mint. Stop talking, start doing, right? So it's just like, it's kind of, how do you help people to learn the basics, get guided, understand what do they want to build, what kind of art they want to create, what kind of business integrations with Web3 they want to have. And so I created this program that we already test run. It calls HeyLayer Space Camp. And we have two different tracks. It's a business track, and then we'll also have an artist track. And so the program is 10 weeks. So you come, we teach you the basic, we help you to understand the basic. We make sure you really understand that you're not keep on reading. And I think it's happened to a lot of smart people, achievers, they just keep on reading, right? Keep on reading, not doing. So we help them to kind of learn the basic, show them technology, right? Gives them a chance to try. The best thing with technology, you gotta try. You gotta buy that NFT and you gotta mint that NFT. You should use a storage. You should do multipass. So then you can actually understand, how can I use this in my business, right? Because that's right now, it's just like, I think for a lot of leaders, they're like, yes, I want to be in Web3, but how, right? Where do I begin? And so this business track will be an amazing opportunity. Learn, try, meet experts in the industry. And then at the end of 10 weeks, we will help you to create a strategy. Like, how can I use this technology to use in my business? Where do I begin? So that's a business track. And then we have HeyLayer Space Camp artist track. It's a lot of, like, there's so many amazing artists right now missing an opportunity to enter the space and create. And so this 10-week program, it's for people who are artists already, digital artists, the real artists, and like curious about Web3, not sure how to start, feeling overwhelmed. And so during the program, again, we help them to understand Web3 basics. They start creating the NFT collection, and then they mint on HeyLayer, or as Gary said, we're not going to be, we can suggest to them what's the best for them. You know, we are here, we believe that we're all one big community. And, you know, if for artist work, there's another marketplace, we will always recommend to them. And so, but most importantly, in both camps, what's happening is you're meeting like-minded people and you get inspired by each other. And every person's success, so artist or business leader, and I think artists are leaders too, every leader's success is everyone's success. So with that said, it's gonna start in next year. If you're interested about program, we will have soon the kind of a page where you can sign up, but you can actually, Justin, if you can put my email address, please, in the chat. So if you're interested about the program and applying and participating in the business track or artist track, thank you, Gary. So you're welcome. I'll be happy to talk to you and share more about the program. But again, it's one of the things we do. We execute things. I think that's a big thing about HeyLayer. Yeah, yes, we brainstorm, we dream, we have visions, but then we make it happen. And so while I was thinking about this program, I was like, okay, let's just make this happen right now and experiment and co-create with the participants. And I think that's what we do in Web3 space. We co-create together. There is never there is no 100% roadmap, and we have to be constantly agile. We planned the Twitter space, and out of blue, who could ever imagine Twitter space is not working together today? So we had to kind of change the direction and move to Zoom. But anyway, without further ado, yes, Ilan, we're executing things. That's that's a huge accomplishment to our development team and leadership team and marketing team. We have an incredible team, and we'll talk about them. HeyLayer Space Camp graduates, they haven't yet graduated. It will happen will take place on January 19 next year, and we'll make announcement about it. And you can, all of the artists here will have a chance to speak about the journey, about the NFT project. You can follow them on Twitter, and then when they go on live, you will be able to collect the NFTs. But I also want to say the power of this community is that Wanda Oliver is one of our biggest, unfortunately she couldn't be here, she's one of the biggest supporters, fans, community members of HeyLayer. Not only she mint a lot of her art on HeyLayer, she's also collecting a lot of art from HeyLayer and others. And she agreed with me to I'm not an artist. I know a lot about, I think I'm an artist, but that's a separate story. Let me go back. So I needed somebody who will mentor artists who've been in a space, who also is a photographer and artist from Web2 world. So Wanda came as a volunteer and she co-led with me this program for the past 8 weeks. And so I think you just Wanda, I'm gonna send you this recording, you with us in this moment. So thank you for supporting me on this idea and helping us to execute. But without further ado, I wanna see the artist, if they can come up to the stage. And Liz, I think you go in first. If you wanna share about who you are, what's your NFT journey, and what is your upcoming collection about?
Sure. Thank you, Marina. It's really great to be here. My name is Liz Gold, and I am based in Southern Maine. Matthew Hegum brought me into the HeyLayer community, and I'm eternally grateful. I've learned a ton, and I really didn't know what to expect. I have had a little bit of experience minting on OpenSea with a friend, but once we did that, it just they were just like hanging out there and then nothing. So I've been very curious about the NFT space and how I can get my art, in that world. And so when Matthew said, you should talk to Marina about this, I did. And so I'm a painter. I'm an abstract painter. I use acrylic and spray paint and sometimes stencils. That's very bold, very neon, very intuitive. I became a painter in 2021 after years of being a writer, and basically just realized that I needed to start painting after I had some psilocybin experience to address depression. And so the painting came out of those experiences with that medicine. And so my collection is about different emotive experiences through that time of 2021 to 2022. And so I created 11 NFTs, and I took 3 digital photographs of each of my paintings and put them in a GIF format. And so that is what my NFTs are. And then I wrote, a little description and sort of the story behind my collection. And I have to say, it's been an incredible experience being in this residency. Marina and Wanda and everyone else has been so incredibly supportive. Web3 is really can be quite intimidating. And I, as a new person in this technology, I'm sort of letting all of the information wash over me and, trying to absorb it. And it's been really an incredible experience to sort of go in without any expectation and to meet every week in a special container to talk about art and to talk about talk about NFTs and talk about Web3, and also to see, what the other members of the residency have been doing and hearing their ideas, because we all have very different collections, and it's really, really exciting to see how different we are and also how supportive we are of each other. So I'm really grateful. I'm really excited to get my NFTs out there. I wanted to put music to the NFTs, and I did a lot of research around that. But what I found is that I had them all done, and then I did some further digging, and that there was a copyright issue with one of the free platforms to download music. I thought it was fine because it was for commercial use, but unfortunately, NFTs were not included in that. So no music right now, but in the future, I would like to have music, maybe from DJs or musicians, added to my NFTs, because I think it just really will make it so much more exciting. So anyways, I'm excited. Thank you so much for having me. If you have any questions, I'm willing to answer them. And I feel really grateful to be part of this community. It's especially exciting since this is the first year and the first space camp. So thank you so much.
Liz, thank you so much for being here and being a pioneer in the space camp, because space camp was created with you guys. It's amazing. And Gary just said he can create music for you, but it could be for the next NFT.
Oh yeah, thank you. That would be
Yeah,
amazing.
so here's Katie said she has ready music, so we got you. You see,
Okay.
we got you.
Thank you
Wait,
so much.
yes, thank you for being here with us and saying yes to it. You know, it was a big deal. You truly didn't know what you're signing up, but you had the power of Matthew over you, so you trust Matthew. So Matthew, thank you. Thank you, Liz. I think Shraddha, are you around? Are you ready to share your story? You have an incredible concept of what's coming together for you, and what's your NFT project is about.
Hey, thank you, Marina, and thank you, Gary and Ala. I'm Shraddha, and I go by SP1111 on my Web3 identity. Basically, I am an artist a visual artist since 2 decades. And in the past decade, I actually have been making utility-based art. So this is a very exciting moment for me to be able to access technology that goes with a lot of the effervescence of my soul's expression. With my journey on Web3, I consider myself a community builder and as much as an artist. And I'm really excited to be able to use this technology to enhance the reason why I made the works that I make. So in the space camp, which has been a really beautiful experience for me, especially working with Marina and Wanda, which has been like such a huge gift, because I feel like I've always been the one who has been sort of that mentoring helper person, and to have mentors and to have, really wise women to lean on has been like very monumental for my journey in the NFT. So my project that I will be minting on HeyLayer is actually something that I always dreamt of interacting with Bitcoin. The work that I will be sharing is a historical record that I captured in black and white film in 2005, which were of women boxers and the journey of female boxers, the journey of the female body in this very masculine sport, and in general, just like a portrait of a fighter in this experience of light and dark, because my work is black and white. It's shot on film, so it's actually silver gelatin and then digitized. So this for me is almost like a parallel universe that's happening with Bitcoin and stacks. And I'm really excited to play on that level of, physical, but not physical, but also, creating an experience of what it's like to, be able to make a work within being embedded in a community, which is what is how I created my series on women boxers, is when I embedded myself in the boxing community in New York in 2005 and ended up creating these about 23 images. So right now where I'm at with my work is that I'm working with some people, the World Boxing Council, Gleason's Gym, which is a very iconic place, and also working with people from within the community who are actively actually writing the history of women's boxing. So this is like a very interesting utility for me, that blockchain will allow for this historical element of women in New York City and how they participated in this, you know, this whole, I don't even know what to call it, the journey of female boxers, and it'll be sort of embedded into the blockchain as history. So it's really fascinating that, like, I've always believed that artists are, you know, knowledge producers and people who share knowledge and safeguard and pass on knowledge. So in that sense, like, it's really been an amazing experience being a part of a space camp, to be able to bring this intelligent outlook to the table and actually be supported, you know, for what exactly I was trying to explore is, you know, like, not like actually looking at art as knowledge and utility, as, or like, you know, some kind of a way of also participating, artists participating in history. So that's kind of like my work. And in terms of like the experience with the other artists, I mean, it's really been like a really warm and a fuzzy kind of a thing, and such a beautiful residency, and not with those hard edges, but like kind of like being inside Marina's ocean, which is like, you know, sometimes the waves are strong, sometimes we chill, sometimes we paddleboard, sometimes we do all of these things. And it's really amazing to be able to breathe and learn from one another and get to know artists from all over the world and that kind of stuff. So that's it for me.
Thank you so much for sharing. I am your ocean, and I'll hold space for you to burst your amazing NFT project that will change the world of boxing. Thank you for choosing us. It's totally an honor, and I love how you reached out to Gary, and you know, you felt connected to HeyLayer, you believed in us, and we're here to support and to help you to continue leading in space, and so people can see your work, and your work can continue making the difference. So thank you so much. So we're going to have next Matthew, because he has to go soon. But Matthew, I know, share with us what kind of artist you are, because you're multidimensional, and how is your journey with NFT, and what is your work, what is your NFT project is about?
Cool. Yeah. So so when I'm not doing business strategy and you know, accounting and numbers stuff, I'm spending my time as an artist, and the practice that I'm engaged in is as a choreographer and a dancer. I'm actually the associate artistic director for a DC-based dance company called Clancy Works Dance Company, and so my job is to make art out of my body and the bodies that I'm blessed to work with. And so when I entered into this space, really the journey actually began with my mother's artwork. In particular, this piece right behind me, for those of you who can see, there's two big abstract pieces. One of them is a piece called Blue Compassion. And so as I was experimenting with this NFT environment, in part because some of the clients I serve through my business, 10K Creators, I was trying to figure out, like, how do I help artists make money using this technology, and how do I address one of the issues that I think is a huge problem, which is which is ownership and being able to control some of the financial dynamics around the selling of artwork. And so I started off, my first NFT minted was an iteration of my mom's work, Blue Compassion, and and it kind of just gave me the chance to play with the technology, and I found that HeyLayer's platform was like really easy to use, and so then sort of literally within 24 hours of like minting my first NFT, I sold one of the NFTs, and so I was like super excited about that. So then when the artist in residency program came around and I received the invitation, the question for me became, okay, how do I explore the physical movement art that I do with my body in collaboration with the visual art that my mom has created? And so the concept that I'm working with is a concept called abstracts in motion, where I'm literally transposing movement material that I generate onto the artwork that I then film, and kind of do this sort of multimedia performance art installation moment on top of these abstract paintings, to bring those paintings to life, and to give them movement, and to help others to kind of understand how to appreciate these sort of abstract visual works of art and to see the movement that's inside of them already. And so I'm really excited to be sort of intersecting multiple art forms, experimenting with media, and really sort of upholding the values, I think, that are a part of what it means to be a part of the Web3 community, i.e. things like transparency and integrity and building community and connection, a lot of the stuff that we talked about in the leadership spaces earlier. And so, yeah, so I'm excited. This is going to be fun. I'm hopeful to introduce this work to more artists that I work with, because I think this is a huge opportunity for creators to really take ownership of their work in a completely different way. And so with that, back to you, Marina.
Thank you, Matthew. I love seeing how you being able to do layers of how can you engage in NFT, how can you engage with Web3 from different angles, and I'm actually fascinated to see you pioneering new innovative solutions for both as for artists and the same as for business leaders. So it's an honor as well to have you in space. Thank you. I'm glad you and Gary know each other, and Gary brought you into the space, and your contribution been tremendous. I know you have to jump out. I just want to say we're going to try to finish by 1:15. Thank you so much for everybody who can stay a little bit longer. And if not, we will have a recording and we will be sending out everything to everyone. And we have one more last and future NFT artist already, not future, Maria. Maria, are you around? Do you want to come out and share your story?
Yes, I am here. My name is Maria, and I was born in Belarus, and now I have been living in Poland for 2 years. I love to draw since childhood, and also I didn't become an artist by my trade. My life of drawing led me over the time to freelance on digital design. Creativity and drawing has accompanied me all my life, and if someone asks me what my hobby is, I always answer that it is drawing. My eldest daughter gave me money for my birthday to buy me a new phone, but I bought myself an iPad in order to draw more, and I'm doing my best. And now I'm drawing on iPad my works to like an NFT. When I came to my first meeting at HeyLayer Spacer Camp in October, I was a little bit unprepared. I have seen those 3 letters NFT before and even tried to figure it out on my own. But those magic words like minting, blockchain, smart contract scare me, and attempts to understand them and it is in failure. And the first meeting, I was immediately introduced to the concept of space Web3, and by the third run, I was already drawing my first NFT. An amazing support group of mentors and artists, incredible support. All this really helps to swim in this ocean where I was like everybody, artist is like just a baby in the ocean. Marina and Wanda always by my side with whom I can ask any questions. We have a personal conversation with them, and it always gives me energy, strength, and confidence to swim on. Together with Marina is holding by my hand, I minted my first NFT. Emotions were running high, and when somebody bought it from me, it was just amazing. And of course, it all adds the inspiration to create and learn faster. Now I'm building my first collection, and it will be a great gift to myself for the new year. Only 3 months, and I'm writing on Twitter. I can explain what is NFT and Web3 to my friends. I'm drawing, I'm minting, and this is a reality. This is my reality, and this is great. And most importantly, I found wonderful friends here who support me. And thank you, everybody. We are always amazing.
Thank you, Maria. Maria and I, we went together to university. We studied radio physics and electronics, and I just sent Maria text and a message on Instagram. There is a program. Do you want to just jump on it? You have a potential. And she said yes. So Maria, thank you for being a brave soul.
Thank you, Maria.
And I know it was hard for you not to do a lot of research, but I was really proud of you because I know you're very scientific, and I'm sure Maria will do some smart contracts soon. She has potential for that too. But I think the program allowed for a lot of artists to narrow it down and execute and make it happen. And also we're going to continue all learning together. I'm learning every day, and it's all of us. And I think while we're learning, we're still going to be building and leading, and we need diversity. We need a lot of different artists. We need a lot of different leaders. And I think I think the space has so much potential for innovation, and everybody can innovate in their own way. So if you're interested in Space Camp program that are coming next year, please email me. I think I'll provide my email again. But I think with that, we also, we're gonna, thank you, Ala. I think we're also gonna do master classes. That's gonna be happening every month. It's a free master classes. We will update everything on the website and send as well email and newsletter, but that's our master classes that's going to be happening in January. We will be covering what is Web3, why to be there, why to collect NFTs, how to become an NFT artist, and then how do you use NFTs how do you use Web3 for your businesses? So a lot's going to happen in terms of education. And so I think, Ala, what are we doing next?
So I can, if you guys want, I could definitely share that link so that we can start to play around with the educational side of things.
Yes, great.
So so this is just a very small taste of kind of what we plan to build into the new updated version of HeyLayer. You can see the link is a Brooklyn link is where I test and build stuff. My former, so please go ahead and test that out. You can go to brooklyn.co/learn. You could do it on your phone, you can do it on the web, and you'll sort of see this really easy step-by-step process and hope to improve that. And then the goal is to actually be able to provide NFTs upon completion of these courses. So there's a record of completion, and this is just the beginning. So I just wanted to share this as we release the updated homepage over the next week or so. This is going to be a big part of it, as well as more of a community vibe feel of what's going on in blockchain, what's going on Stacks. We're going to rely on many of you here so that you can help us provide the information that our community needs, because I think having a hub that you can go to and say, hey, you know, here's what's happening, here are the top NFTs, here are the people I should meet. That's the type of place we want to have so that leaders can come in, do what they need to do, but also grow in one place. So wanted to share that link with everybody. Hope they kind of go through the process.
Yeah, and that's a link for people who are beginners or who wants to learn about Web3, right? Right, Gary? And
Correct.
It's very interactive, and I think it's also like, we would love your feedback. If you wanna, you always can tweet at Gary, DM him, he's always there, or send it to all of us. But I think it's a great course. It's interactive, simple. And I highly recommend all Space Camp residents to do it and actually test yourself. How much do you know? How much is new for you? So that's, and for everybody in here as well, whoever's with us. Yeah.
I think at this point, we would just, if anyone has any questions. Yeah, anyone has If anyone has any questions, we're kind of opening up the floor.
Yeah.
You can post your question in chats if you don't want to come up. But yeah, otherwise, we are super excited and looking forward for the next year. Here, and I know, Marina, you had a list of people you wanted to thank.
Yeah, we have a lot of people to thank. We have a lot of people to thank, and if I forget anybody, just so this, again, as I said at the beginning, the journey without community, with our team. I mean, first of all, I want to always thank Al and Gary, because without them, I wouldn't be in this space. So forever grateful to the co-founders that we grow together, and we've created this HeyLayer, this baby that we burst and keep on growing and, you know, exploring and innovating. It's been an honor. But I also want to say that, again, there's people in community like Strada who believed in us, and Matthew and Wanda, who is not here. And we also had this opportunity where we opened the door to people who had executive knowledge and being more of like, I know marketing, I know project management, I know business development, but I would love to do this in Web3. And they entered the space, they joined the HeyLayer, like this kind of executive level leadership internship where they contributed their knowledge. And we also shared our knowledge about Web3. So, and I think Mara is here, Mara Anel, she's our project manager. She's like person who focused us, Matthew Hagam, business development, sales, Kara Regan, I think she was here. She's our marketing expert. And it's you guys all wearing so many different hats. And also earlier this year, we had Jim Hall and Desiree Akavan. And I think our legal team is still here. So that's kind of, they've been kind of watching. They're like our like legal angels, like, you know, they're like watching, making sure we don't do anything wrong. So protecting us in the long run. And of course, our most important person who is making a lot of things run smooth is Justin Matson, who is our success client manager, but also Justin has a lot of skills and strengths, and he's opportunity being agile and step in where we need him, been, I think, huge help for us in transformation. Did I forget anybody?
Yeah, just anyone that's been supporting us. You know, this is a long journey, and you know, we are, you know, we've been in business. We were not like, you know, right out of school, kind of, you know, trying to make the big thing, and then, you know, we want to create this kind of long-term, you know, as people have said, slow and steady journey that lasts. So we just appreciate everyone that's been with us through this, and we want to continue growing, hopefully the right way.
Thank you for support. Thank you for being here. Thank you for showing up. We really appreciate every single one of you, and we wish you the best of holidays ahead and the time to decompress, turn off.
Your family, time off.
I think it's creating in 20.
Yeah, I'm gonna quote, we couldn't hear you, but I'm gonna quote Louis, who is one of the co-founders of Rider. He said, "Strive for simplicity and target long-term success." So I think Web3 needs simplicity, and we all kind of understand it. It's a long-term game. So thank you so much for being with us on this journey. And yes, as Alex said, happy holidays, and hopefully everybody have a chance to slow down and relax and rejuvenate. And yes, Justin is incredible. Yes, happy holidays.
Thank you, everybody.